Sometimes I feel like you are just the universe's cat toy, and it just batted me all over the place. I did not get anything done at that point other than some self-loathing. It was setback after setback after setback. I want to be able to talk about my book and not have it sound like this. If I took the class, I would know. I have to try this book, so just. There's a phrase. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, and welcome to my Q1 review. So we're just going to talk about how things are going for the first 3 months of the year. So if you guys saw my original kind of like planning, not really planning for the year ahead, I had like some loose goals. It was really more about my intentionality for the year ahead. And I feel like I did some things really well, some things I'm still trying to figure out. Figuring out was a big theme of that. And then I did some check-ins in February also. So I am filming this in April. You guys will see this in April. And again, just kind of wanted to touch base a little bit as much for me. I was going to say as for you. I mean, is anybody really interested in where I am right now? I don't know. If you're watching this, thank you so very much. And if you're not interested, well, there'll be more book videos coming your way. So anyway, we are going to talk a bit about books today. But all in, I feel like okay about this year. So like I said, some things are going really well. Some things are not where I wanted them to be. And in typical life happens fashion, life happened, particularly in March. Life happened a lot in March and it just kept happening. I feel like it was that. Does anybody remember? I think it was like the first episode of season 2 of Friends. It's after Rachel sees Ross and Julie together at the airport and she's just like in it. And she's like, yesterday it was like rock bottom, but today it's like rock bottom, 50 feet of crap, and then me. That's kind of how March was. I feel like somewhere there was rock bottom, and then the 50 feet of crap, and then there's me. So I feel like I am crawling out of March, which is good. So some things have turned around, things that have been outside of my control. It just sometimes I feel like you are just the universe's cat toy, and it just batted me all over the place. So let's start with something good. Books, reading. So I set an arbitrary goal of 75 books on Goodreads. Like, you got to put in something. So long story short, I am ahead of my goal. So by the end of March, I had read 28 books. So my point was going to be, if I don't hit 75, it's fine. It's not like I'm doing everything within my power to get there. I just wanted to put in a number. I would like to think I'm going to read less this year because in theory I'm going to be writing more, but I can't not have a book. So I read 28 books as of the end of March, and the more interesting fact, maybe, is 14 of those books were 2024 releases. So if you guys have been following me this year, and again, I've heard this comment a couple times, and like, I totally get it, but I don't know what else to do, you've heard me talk a lot about a lot of the same books because I'm still doing my most anticipated releases every month because I love those videos and they're super fun and I get really jazzed about what's coming out. I've also had a greater fortune this year, I would say, this year, why can't I say that word? This year, I would say, of getting more NetGalley arcs, getting some more physical arcs, and I've really wanted to read them. And of course, my pre-orders on top of all of that. So I feel good that I'm reading what's coming to me, but I have definitely neglected some of my other goals and intentions. So 14 2024 releases, fantastic. Still on that spree, still going strong, but I have not done great with my 12 and 24. I've read one. My read to 0, I'm pretty sure I've read 0. I really intended to read some of those authors. I know my mood readers out there totally understand this. Like, make a plan and mood readers laugh, right? I just need to go where the flow goes. So I have not done great on that. I have done, I would say, deceptively well on Read Christie 2024. So as of today, which we're in April, I have read 3 books, but I did not read the March assigned book. I did not read a Christie in March. So I still plan to read the March book. The April book is a Marple book, which I do plan to read. Again, I'm not really, like, I'm certainly not in a penalty kind of a, I'm never in like a punishment kind of a mode, but I plan to continue to read the Christies. I'm just going to read them at my own pace when they work for me. So I've read 3 of 3, but one of them wasn't the book we were quote unquote supposed to read. So kind of hit that goal. And I feel like those were the only real specific reading bookish goals that I had planned for myself. So bingo did start April 1st. I was working on it in March. I was excited for it. Thank you to everyone who was excited to hear about it. And I know I did kind of an abbreviated one, which is just what I needed to do. So it was not something I wanted to let pass me by, but I appreciate the support on the 2-month one, and then got a lot of support about doing a summertime one. So maybe that is kind of our next plan for something a little bit longer. So maybe kind of pencil that in on your calendars of something that's coming. But I have finished 3 books as of now for April, which I'm excited about, and I'm like 100 pages into another one. I don't know where they plot on my bingo board, but that's really a Q2 thing for us to talk about. So anyway, wheels are in motion. Okay, what else has happened? So writing. Why can't I say words today? I definitely am in a seasonal allergy. Just gonna blame everything on everything. I feel like my voice is weird. I want to talk about writing. So a lot of people have asked, let me put the pen down. A lot of people have asked me to do some more writing content. This is really tricky for me because I don't want to talk about my actual story in terms of like plot and characters and things like that. Like, it's definitely too delicate of a flower still for me, but I'm happy to talk process what I'm doing around it. And I'm still trying to figure out like if I want to do a writing vlog. So these are kind of like, there's ideas bouncing in my head, but there's a lot of competition for attention in my head these days. So from a writing standpoint, I would say in the theme of the review here, going okay. Definitely not where I thought I would be by now / wanted to be by now. So we are like 6 weeks out from Thriller Fest, which again was like my beacon deadline kind of a thing, like my light at the end of the tunnel deadline. So I am in the 3rd draft, which is good. I am in a sort of scene by scene rewrite, edit, not to a polished finish, but to I was talking to one of my writer friends about this the other night, and I was like, I'm at the point where all of those like I'll deal with this later moments, like it's later. These are things that I have to figure out now. So I still have a character who doesn't have a name at all. Like, she still just has like who she is in the book. Girl is what she's called in the book so far. And then I have another character whose name I need to change because it's too similar to another name. And I like the other name more. Like, I want to keep the other name more than I want to keep this one, but I don't know what the right name for her is going to be yet. So I need to figure out like those kinds of things. I need to figure out all the geography stuff that requires research that I haven't figured out yet. I need to figure out all the logistical things, like the map of my location and how you get from point A to point B. So sometimes they're turning left and sometimes they're turning right when they should always be turning left. Like, need to figure out all of that kind of stuff. So it is going slowly. Today, it's going very well. Last night, I could have put my head down and cry because I was such a frozen zombie that I legit, I don't know if anybody's ever had this. It's like I couldn't even move. I was so frozen and just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't even know if I want a cup of tea. I don't know if I should get up and walk around. I don't know if I should stay here and like continue to push my way through it. I don't know if I should try and do it by hand. Like, my entire head just froze. And as you can imagine, I did not get anything done at that point other than some self-loathing. So that was not my best writing night, but that's how it goes. That's the ebb and flow of, I feel like, any creative life, and not even just creative. I feel like whether you're an athlete, like whatever it is you're doing or training for, it's just the nature of the beast. So I had hoped to be further along by now. I am where I am. And the mission is just to keep going forward. So I was listening to a podcast today, I think, this morning, yesterday, blends a little bit. But it was somebody talking about whatever the percentages are of people who like want to write a book, start to write a book, and then like get 25%, get 50%, you know, and how many people ultimately actually finish a book, never mind go back again and continue the process, and how many people get so mired at the beginning or in the beginning. And I was definitely one of these people where I would know the beginning, I would kind of know the end, and I would hit a wall somewhere in the middle, and I would just keep going back to the beginning, and then I would get back to that wall and I would go back to the beginning. So what I'm trying to do, and what I've been trying to do since last year, where I'm like really trying to push, is to not let myself stop and go back. And at this stage of the game, stop and skip forward is also not an option. Like I need to linearly, I feel like that's a word, just go through it. Just go through it. So there is one component that I am skipping for later, but it's fine. It's like it has to do with the story, but it doesn't have to do with the story. Like the mixed media stuff, I'm saving for later. So kind of making notes of what's going to be revealed, but the actual story, I'm pushing forward. I'm pushing forward. So stay tuned. I will continue to keep you guys posted on that, where I'm going, but I'm not abandoning ship. I'm still working on it. I'm still committed to it. And hopefully I will have a concise elevator pitch that if I find the nerve to branch out and be social at Thriller Fest, I already have somebody that I'm going to meet there, which I'm super excited about. And I want to be able to talk about my book and not have it sound like this. I need it to not be 10 minutes of me rambling about stuff. So that is my goal, is to be able to have an actual pitch that I can talk to people about, in the sense of like when somebody's like, oh, what are you writing? Like not like, here's my entire manuscript. It's all done and polished. Here we go. So that is something I'm going to continue to work on. And I'm feeling proud of myself that I'm still sticking with it. And I'm really trying to not let myself get down on myself for not being where I want to be. So still going, still consistent, right? It was like live was the word and consistent was the theme. So I'm trying to stay consistent. So I feel like I'm going to take it as a win, because even though not every day is a move forward, I'm consistently showing up. So I'm taking that as a win. I'm going to take my walking as a win. Once we got past that horrible, miserable, wintry weather, I have stayed consistent. And I'm also trying to give myself a break. And what I would like to do, I'm also trying to avoid the word need to do, what I know would be good for me to do. Trying to like change my words sometimes. I need to get back into my weights. So I do have some fitness goals in terms of frequency. I don't have fitness goals that I'm not like throwing numbers against a wall, but like in terms of consistency and strength building and things that I would like to accomplish there. So I have been more consistent as of late. And there have been nights after work where I'm like, I just don't want to go. I just don't want to go. And what I find works for me often, and this used to work for me like back in the day when I was the early morning gym person, was like just get dressed and just do 10 minutes. And ultimately, often those 10 minutes turn into a lot more. And if 10 minutes is 10 minutes, then it's better than no minutes. So trying to kind of stay in that zone. I don't know how I got from writing to exercise, but there we are. So in other news, I'm like checking my notes. I actually wrote notes this time. I am very grateful. So in the live theme for this year, again, I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm a 3-star performer so far. I had somebody ask me in the comments like why I don't star my books when I do ratings, and I feel like everything is way too nuanced, and some people, when you hear it's like a 3-star, people are like, oh, it's not good, I'm not going to read it. Like, to me is like, you're getting it done, you're where you need to be, things are happening, you're staying afloat, like you're handling the big stuff. Like it's good. Like 3 is not bad. A 3 is not bad. So I feel like I'm a 3, but I am trying to lean into my living, and I'm trying to say yes to things that scare me, and I'm trying to welcome in new opportunities. So again, if you guys have been following me, I had the best opportunity in the whole world to join Kate from previously known as Killing the Tea. Now it is Book Wild. So she has rebranded the podcast since Gare has stepped back from it. So I have had an opportunity to guest with her twice. So one of them came out in April, but we're talking about it anyway. So if you guys have watched it or listened to it, thank you so much for supporting it. It was so fun. So we talked about like some of my favorite books the first time, and this last time we talked about our mutual love of Vanderpump Rules and The Valley, and like books that are messy the way reality TV is messy. And it was so fun, like to see how Kate approached it, and just great conversation. And Kate's a writer also, and we just could like talk all night long, but it's just been so fun, and I'm so super grateful. And not something, if you had asked me in January, if I thought like, hey, do you think you'll be on a podcast this year? So very grateful for that, having such a great time and super fun. I'm also really grateful to have the opportunity to still partner with Book of the Month on things. So I worked with them for April. I read, this is not a spoiler because if you guys follow me, you already know, one of the April new releases, How to End a Love Story, which just sidebar, was by far one of my favorite books of the year so far. 5 stars, just loved everything about it. There's a review on my Instagram. Plug. Follow me on Instagram. I'm really trying to build my numbers there. And I just am super grateful for that. So they're just so much fun to partner with. They're just such great people. And I'm excited to continue to have these opportunities as they pop up. And I did some more. Let's backpedal for half a second. Let's go back to writing for a minute. Actually, let me take a drink of water. Hold on. It always sounds louder on there than it does in real life. So anyway, backpedaling to writing in the sense of having great opportunities and taking advantage of them and saying yes to things. So again, if you guys have been here for a minute, you've heard me talk about Kristen Bird, and she had solicited some people on Bookstagram if anyone was interested in kind of being part of her launch team, which I did, which was such great fun. And just being able to be a part of that and get to talk to her and work with her. She's just such a wonderful woman. And kind of like through that, I became more aware of things that she was doing. So I wound up taking a class with her along with some other people. And then met someone who I mutually knew through Instagram through that class, and just kind of like all of these little connections and trying to stay open to different connections that are happening. But I did take that class, which was really good. I'm continuing to do my Sisters in Crime write-ins, which is great. And I would say, and I feel like I've said this before, the 8 a.m. Eastern writers group tends to be the same people. So it's just been so great getting to know people. I am very hopeful that some people are going to be at Thriller Fest. There have been so many other conferences before that. So everyone's kind of like, this is the conference that's happening now. This is what's happening now. So Thriller Fest is a little bit more down the road. But to start to build that community and to really get out of my shell and not be as sidelined as I usually keep myself when it comes to these kinds of events has been great. So I'm really trying to work on that. And I did sign up for, but have not yet watched. Harlan Coben is doing its BBC Maestro. Is it called BBC Maestro, or is it just called Maestro? You know, if I took the class, I would know. I feel like it's called, hold on, let me just not guess. Yeah, BBC Maestro. Okay, I haven't totally lost my mind. So they had a promotion and I signed up for it, but I haven't watched it yet. So it's a thriller writing class and there's a whole bunch of other authors on it. So it's like masterclass, but it's the BBC version of it. So that's basically what it is. So I've been trying to, I need to stop saying so all the time. I've been trying to take advantage of both free and paid writing classes and do the ones that suit me best. And I think there's a lot of great advice out there. I feel like I talked about this a lot when I talked about the self-help books I was reading. Like, not everything is going to work for everybody. There is no one right way to do things, but I definitely am here for gleaning all of the nuggets and advice and perspective I can get. especially as I'm getting deeper into revisions. And I feel like there's a parallel between chronic excessive overwriter here and kind of chronic excessive clutter bug over here. So I'm trying to work on cleaning out my book. The like one upside from an editing perspective is I wound up, I'm sorry, this is all over the map, but here we go. I wound up eliminating a character, and I know I've said some of this in some other videos, but anyway, so as I'm going through, I'm like, that whole chapter can go. And maybe there were some things that happened in that chapter that need to get reassigned to a different character. But I had a character where she was a POV character, and I just eliminated her completely, and have made somebody else a POV character, but it's not like a one in, one out kind of a thing. So I have had the chance to just eliminate a whole bunch of words, which is great because the draft is an obscene number of words. So in a parallel universe, I'm also trying to eliminate stuff and things. So I already did one unhaul video. I actually have a pile of books on the floor over there for another unhaul video. Not as big as the first one, but I'm kind of somewhere between like trying to not be super precious about books, but I'm not so ruthless that I'm like, it has to go. Like if books intrigue me, if it's still something I think I might read, I'm keeping it. If it's something where I'm like, I haven't read it yet, if I was picking a book today, this would not be it. Like, anyway, I don't know. In my brain, it all makes sense, but we'll see. So the first unhaul I did, if you guys saw it, I did rescue one from the pile. I don't know if I'm going to rescue anything from today's pile, although I went circles on this one. This has nothing to do with today's catch up. I have to try this book. I don't know why I refuse to like get rid of this book, and I have yet to read it. It also, she's dusty. She is dusty. It's a YA. I mean, it just like it feels like a YA version of Lucy Foley's The Hunting Party in some ways. And that is my favorite Lucy Foley book. It is one of my favorite all-time thrillers. And this feels like that, yet I haven't read it yet. So this might be my follow me of the last unhaul. So I do have, again, I'm a mood reader, but I have a little bit of a plan. I have an arc. I got the NetGalley arc of Olivia Mentor's Such a Bad Influence, which I am so excited about. And I kind of didn't think I would get it. I don't know why. I will never understand how NetGalley works. I will never understand how they pick and choose people, but it's fine. I'm grateful for what I get. I do get bummed out every once in a while, Peter Swanson, but I'm very excited that I got her book. So I am going to read that next. I'm trying to also do kind of like front list, back list. It'll probably last a week. So anyway, maybe after that, I'll read Stags. For anyone who didn't see this is Stags by M.A. Bennett. I bought this book I feel like I bought this book when I first bought my channel. When I first started my channel. This came out in 2018. So I might have even bought it before the channel because it's the hardcover. I can't let it go. So anyway, I have another unhaul. I did begin to confront my doom closet, which is like my Monica Geller closet. I recycled a whole bunch of stuff. I shredded a bunch of stuff. Like this is the kitchen sink of closets. I threw out stuff that was just like broken, can't be recycled, can't be donated, can't be reused kind of a thing. I have a half full box of donations, and I'm still working on that closet. But again, I'm trying to so and just are the words that I need to, so just, there's a phrase, are the words I need to eliminate from my vocabulary. Just is definitely a crutch word in my writing. Anyway, I'm going to continue to work on eliminating things to try and make space for space, basically. I'm not trying to make space to buy more stuff. I'm trying to make space to have air and room to breathe. I don't know that was part of my original goal, but I know I've talked about decluttering a lot. So there it is. And I feel like those are the big things. So this was not a goal. This was also not on my bingo card. I took my first business trip in probably like 8 years, 7 or 8 years. The last time I went on a business trip was to NeoCon in Chicago, which is like a design furniture convention that I went to because we were renovating our office. And it was definitely one of the cooler things I got to do. This last business trip, I would not put it in the category of cool, but it was good to meet people. It was good to see people, but I have never been what I would consider a good traveler. I have been reminded why. Not a good traveler. The trip went fine. I was lucky with flights. I did not have any bad weather in terms of turbulence or delays or anything like that. I did manage to get like the ear that wouldn't pop, but eventually it did and everything was fine. But yeah, I really have become a deeper and deeper and deeper creature of habit, particularly I think since 2020 and working from home, that wow, does the slightest thing set me off schedule. And like I can go with the flow. It's not that I was like, oh my God, I can't even be processing this. But I realized when I was away just like how much I have come to rely on certain things and how much ritual and routine is part of my day. So it was good. It was good to go. It was, it's not going to be the last trip is my understanding. I don't know if we're going to do trips a couple times a year to see people, but it was good. It definitely pushed me a little out of my comfort zone, which is always a good thing. So not bad. It happened. I got through it. I was a little nerve-wracked, as you can guess. You can probably hear it in my voice, but everything was fine. Everything was fine. And I will say multiple good things came out of it, but one particular good thing that came out of it, and I don't know if I talked about it here or at all, or if I just like I definitely mentioned it to my boss, but the hotel TV, doesn't always have a lot to offer. Really get accustomed to like the DVR and stuff like that. I had my iPad with me, but when you've got a TV that's like the size of Texas, why would I want to sit and watch something on my iPad? So anyway, that newish Jason Priestley show where he's like the con artist dad. Anybody? Let me see what it's called. Wild Cards, maybe? You guys know of my love of Jason Priestley and all things 90210. So I had heard he was going to be in a new TV show and I didn't know anything about it. So it's on Channel 11. It is on Channel 11 in New York. What is your CW, everybody? Hold on. Oh my gosh. Why is this information so hard to find? I just want to know what Jason Priestley is up to. Wild Cards. Did I call it Wild Cards 5 minutes ago? Oh my gosh, that was way too hard to find. So the actress who plays his daughter, so Vanessa Morgan plays his daughter, was Tony from Riverdale, which I did break up with Riverdale a couple seasons in because it just stopped being fun for me. I did stop after Luke Perry passed away. I just couldn't get into that show again, but I loved season 1. I thought it was fantastic. But anyway, Tony is his daughter. And so it was on and I watched it and I was like, when I re-up my Hulu, I'm going to watch the heck out of that show. I don't know why it makes me so happy to see him. I just love Jason Priestley so much. So that came out of it. And then I feel like in the vlog I told you guys I discovered that drink at the airport, that lemon water, which I still will swear by. I'm only ever going to buy it if it's on sale because it costs a silly amount of money. But when on sale as a treat, it's definitely worth it. So I get stingy about the weirdest things. That's one of them. So there you go. I feel like that's kind of the highlights. So again, I'm going to take Q1. I'm going to take the W. I feel like things moved forward. Not all of them, some of them. Not everything can move forward at the same time. I need to take a little bit more stock. There are some things that I am well aware of that are not working for me. Like I'm definitely in that rut. And again, March kicked my butt. It really, really did. It was setback after setback after setback. And again, some things were out of my control. Some things I was at other people's mercy to get cleaned up. And it just, it threw me. It definitely threw me off my game. And it put me into a mode of, I don't even want to try anymore. So I definitely let March beat me down. I let March win. I did let March win. We started out okay, and then March beat me. So I'm going to try and take back control here. I'm going to try and be like my New York Mets, who started out slow, but we just beat Atlanta. We won the series. We're on the upswing. Things are turning around. We've turned a corner. We're going to be fine. So point being is, I know that like things need to change, and I'm well aware that I am not making changes, and I'm finding myself being frustrated that nothing's changing. But nothing's changing because nothing's changing. So I am well aware that I need to shift some behaviors, some habits, some things, and I just haven't done it yet. So I'm going to try and push myself. This weekend I have no plans, so I'm going to try and use it as a weekend to continue to just do the push. And yeah, hopefully by the end of Q2, it'll be more good news. So let's keep our fingers crossed and stay optimistic about that. But reading is good. Writing is good in the grand scheme, all things considered, and things are okay. Things are okay. Not everything is where I want it to be. Not everything is where I hoped it would be, but I'm here. I'm trying, and just, I don't know, what kind of cheesy cliche can I say at the end of this video? I don't know. It's just, it's doing, and I'm doing, and I'm trying, and that's what matters. So thank you guys so much for listening, so much for being here, for subscribing, for commenting, for thumbsing up, and for everybody's comments and support and excitement. Like the excitement over bingo made me so happy. Again, it's like so strange sometimes because there's like the disconnect between when I'm doing this and when it actually goes live and you guys are seeing it. So sometimes it's like I'm on a whole different page by the time this goes live, and just seeing those comments make me so happy. So thank you guys for watching and just being a part of the story here. And I don't know, ask me questions down below if you want. I'm getting very close to 7,000 subscribers, knocking on wood. So maybe we'll do another Q&A when I hit that milestone. And of course you can ask me questions in between. So go for it. Let me know how your first quarter went. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Is anybody readjusting? If you made resolutions, if you made plans, if you made intentions, I feel like it's always good to take some stock. I'm trying to be reflective of what worked, what didn't, kind of pivot as I move forward. And I just really need to prioritize my writing. That is the mission. Prioritize the writing. That is the most important thing outside of like my job, but like my dream job is the most important thing. So until next time, you guys, I feel like I was going to say something else, but gone out of my head. So I hope everybody's doing fantastic. I hope you guys had a great first quarter. And yeah, let me know. Are you pivoting? Do you have some like second quarter goals? How are you tackling things? How are things going? Let me know all the things. And I'll see you guys in that next video whenever it comes out, and we'll get back to books. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.